Okay, the first thing we need to do with this one is to figure out our pension expense. Well, let's go through. Service cost, that's certainly part of pension expense. So that increases our pension expense. And what else do we have here? We have our interest cost. So our interest is, what, 7%. Okay, that's our discount rate, 7%. And we're paying interest on our PBO, so 7% of that is 227,000.5. That increases our interest expense. Our expected return on plan assets is 268. That reduces our pension expense, so that's 8% times the plan assets, 3350. Now keep in mind that that includes the 7% that we actually got plus the additional loss, so that's the total expected. Now the amortization of prior service cost, that's going to increase our pension expense, and we're going to amortize some net gain, and that's going to decrease our pension expense. So let's see, do we have everything there? I think we do. We have the service cost, we have the interest, we have the expected return, we have the prior service cost, yep, and we have the net gain for 477.5. So our pension expense is 477.5. which I carefully wrote as 477.4. Now, let's go through and fill in the pieces, okay? So, our pension expense is 477.5. So that's pension expense, 477.5. And our increase to our plan assets is the actual return, so our increase on plan assets was 268. Now remember, we're doing this journal entry, and this is for the plan and the company combined. So while that 268 reduced our pension expense, it increases the plan assets. So we have net gain, and again, remember the net gain reduced our pension expense, but we're amortizing that, so that increases the plan assets. So we're combining it. See, this is us, plan, the prior service costs, which increased our pension expense, okay, actually also increases the liability, so that comes over here. And the net change to our projected benefit obligation is the total of those three. So our PBO at the end is 727.5. That's how much we are increasing our liability. So this is the plan, and this is the plan, okay? So it sometimes looks a little weird because we're actually doing journal entries for two separate entities basically, but they're also the same one. Now, the other comprehensive income part, plan assets, that's the loss that we're looking at. And remember, we were looking at 8%. We were hoping to get 8% of 3350. So 8% of 3350, which is 268. We got 7% of 3350, which is 234.5. So our loss, 33.5, That's part of other comprehensive income, 33.5, and the assets, the plan assets are reduced by 33.5. It's a credit to the assets, it reduces them. Now, we also made a cash payment of $435, okay? So that reduces our cash of $435,000, increases the plan assets by $435,000, and we paid $460,000 of retiree benefits, so that reduces our obligation. We no longer owe those people those benefits. We've paid them, and of course we paid them out of plan assets. So once you realize that we're looking at both the plan and the company, and you put it all together, you see that it's kind of makes a little more sense. We'll do some later on where we do a worksheet, and you might like that method better.